episode number 50 with Steve and Mike.
I got X-ray specs for eyes. I can see right through you.
Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
This is Mike Snyderman.
And we're coming to you. We're both, I think, a little bit disheveled.
Disoriented?
Yes.
That's funny. We were thinking of similar words.
We were. We both started with D. I'm still surrounded by boxes. We're just about ready to get out of here. I've got... I still have to paint the apartment, but 90% of our shit is packed up, and pretty much the only thing, except for the microphone and the computer, is still standing. But you're kind of in a similar boat, right? You're looking to go back east here pretty soon?
Yeah, I got all sorts of weird shit going on here as I try to get my life together. But yeah, vacation, then going back to Connecticut for the try to get my post office job back. Mm-hmm. And in between, I might have to move to Florida for reasons that I don't even want to get into it. But you and I are soldier on here, Steve. From the very beginning, you were determined. You said we got to put out an episode every week, so we need to. If we want to meet them 52 weeks in a row is the goal, right?
Yes, it is, and we're damn close. We're damn close.
Not that we're going to stop at 52 or 53, but at this point, we can't give up on our remarkable consistency that you have demanded of me.
No, we can't. We're front loading these a little bit because I don't even know who my internet provider is going to be when I get to the house in Oxnard. But I figure with your vacation coming up, my wife and I basically right after we move in, we're going to Hawaii. But at the same time, you got all the shit going on with the post office. I don't know when we're going to be able to do one of these again. So we're literally 9:15 at night here. I just finished a 9-hour grind on Sunday. You played a couple of tournaments at the Ocean's 11, right?
Right. Yeah, I fired 2 bullets into a 50K there and got nothing to show. First of all, Oxnard, you guys were in the news this weekend, weren't you?
Oh, were we?
Wasn't there some fucking snake running around biting people in the ass there or something?
I don't watch the news, so I can't tell you. I'll hear all about it tomorrow morning at work, though.
Oh, I mean, I saw it in the news here. I'm going to have to Google this. Oxnard.
Snake bite or something, or what?
Oxnard snake. I think something should come up here. Anyways.
This should be interesting because...
incredibly venomous yellow-bellied sea snake seen in California for first time in 30 years. It was seen in Oxnard Beach.
Wow.
Venomous. I love that word.
Yeah.
Except for when it's regarding a snake in a town I live in. Oh, they're saying El Nino brought this snake closer to the coast because of the warmer waters, blah, blah, blah. These snakes are... Yeah.
Interesting. Does it say if the fire department responded or?
I'm just looking at like the headlines here.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's kind of crazy as shit. It's kind of funny. I was talking to my son about the all the pythons that are the whole idea of invasive species.
Okay.
We talked about this before. This is one of there's all these little trivial shit that makes me angry. But all these people put their pet snakes in the Everglades just for yucks. The Burmese pythons.
Yeah.
Now these things can kill alligators.
Wow.
They can kill the panthers, the Florida panthers, which is an endangered species. They're destroying the entire environment. They're just eating everything.
I saw a Discovery program about that. Yeah.
And, it's funny how there's like, they can tell there's like a certain number, like a threshold they've crossed where they've done the studies where there's now nothing that you can do about it. Where basically they've reached, it's kind of, they can do predictions. Like once you're down to like 200 rhinos from some group, they're going to die off.
Yeah.
Like there's a number where you need to sustain and whatever the number was, they've done the studies and it's now a sustainable species, which is not going to be stopped. But anyways, so Oxnard snakes. What else is going on in the world?
The presidential race.
Here's an interest. I have a story. I've talked to several friends about this, and because of maybe I'm the only person in the world who get angry about this. Well, you don't have a kid, but it's kind of funny. Like I've got all my friends have kids. I got one buddy particularly. We played basketball in college together. And he says, you're not going to believe how bad it is when you start playing youth sports these days. I mean, you got like 7-year-olds with batting coaches and personal, speed coach. I mean, just how competitive it is and all this stuff. So my son, I signed him up for 6 and 7-year-old youth basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I put my name in as a coach. I didn't know. We took him for tryouts 2 weeks ago. They just did a few skills, and they measured the height of every kid.
Okay.
And, they're going to put the teams together. It turns out, so they asked me to be the coach, and there's only 20 kids in the league, so there's 2 teams. And I show up with a bunch of fun drills for these kids, and they were having fun. And we play the game, and we lost 50-2.
Holy shit.
And the other coach, it's right away, this is my first time in this Y, but the other coach who's like best friends, basically these guys this guy picked the team, the other guy who I'm playing against. Should I be punching this person? My buddy, I'm talking to my buddy. He's like, well, the kid's having fun. I said, well, my son, because he has my emotional health, is the only one who's really bothered by this.
Yeah.
But it's at the point, like, they took their measurements in height. I've got 3 girls on my team who are all up to my knees, and all the other 3 girls are all like as tall as the boys. And tall,
wow.
I mean, there's one kid on this team who's just so good. It does, like, if you made the teams equal and you put him on the team, he would win by 20 points. That team,
yeah.
But this was ridiculous, and I'm trying to get everyone to play the ball and like get these sweet little girls to like bounce a couple times and take a shot.
Yeah,
and it's all about size, kind of at this age. You know what I mean? Who's going to get the rebound and so anyways, and this coach, it was just transparently false, like fake magnanimous. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'm going to get my team to back off a little bit. Like he's like he's being like he rigs the whole thing, and then he's generously helping me out by, like, it's one thing if you get it, so you got the best 2 players in your team,
yeah.
But it's like so transparently, like, fixed is not the right word, but it's just like
it's just totally obvious.
Yeah, when the kids aren't the same height, like basically you got all the 6-year-olds on one team and all the 7-year-olds on the other team or something.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, they grow fast at this age.
Yes, they do. 365 days is a lot to a 6-year-old.
Well, I mean, I guess it's and it's frustrating for the parents and stuff. And I'm talking to my buddy, and it's like parents take their aggression out through their children.
Yeah.
Too, you got these little fat ass dudes who fucking got cut from JV football, who now have a son who they're going to teach to be a badass and take with them. But I don't know. The whole thing was like a frustrating experience for me. But the kids seemed to do pretty well. Finally, like, I was very close. The one kid who was just grabbing the ball. Oh, that was the other funny thing. My son got a rebound once,
mm-hmm.
and they blew the whistle because his foot was on the line.
Oh.
And I swear to God, 20 seconds later, one of the team's players from the other team grabbed the ball and ran the whole length of the floor without putting it on the floor once, without one dribble.
No whistle?
No whistle. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, there was traveling from all the players from that.
Yeah.
But this was like 30 seconds later. So I mean, I didn't like ask why a toe on the line is a rule we need to take super seriously, but we just, I guess like 7-year-olds can understand inbounds and out of bounds, but they're just not skilled enough to dribble. So there wouldn't be a game if they could. But if the kid just picks the ball and runs the entire length of the floor, like this was the only kid who would do that. Everybody else would like have it one dribble and run 3 and then one,
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, don't I have to like confront the dude and say like society, Steve? I mean, this is why the human race is fucked here, Steve. I mean, seriously, somebody needs to tell this guy. Like, yeah, sir, I know what you're up to, and I think it's lame. You're lame, sir. I mean, I don't know how strong, because of my temper is just so hideous bad. Like, I could not start like a conversation with a little dig, because if he came back after me, then it could easily escalate.
Well, how did they pick teams? Was it like you were on one side and he was on the other, and he picked one, you pick one, or how did this go?
No, it didn't even work like that. Supposedly it was just the other coach said he had nothing to do with it. I asked one of the other coach. I didn't really get into it. I'm like, wow, we got our. I said, you seem to have all the tall kids on your team, is all I said. And he's like, yeah, these guys picked the team. Basically, what's supposed to happen is whoever runs the league, all the people who work for the Y there are mostly like these 20, 23-year-old kids kind of thing, probably up phys ed majors from college, or I don't know what they are.
Okay.
So the two guys who refereed this game were both like early mid-20s, and they were the ones who picked the teams, I guess. Although they knew this other coach well. So it's not like it wasn't like that day. Teams were not picked on the day I was there.
Okay.
In fact, it was 2 weeks ago, and then the rosters were sent out last Wednesday or something. So they waited 10 or 11 days to even tell us who the teams were, and I had to even look at the thing to see that I was actually the coach. But yeah, I mean, it's just my buddy said, "Were the kids having fun?" And I said, "Well, everybody but my son." But anyways, I felt finally triumphant that I said, because Jonah's like, "We're not playing defense." I said, "Jonah, I wanted this really good kid to get knocked on his ass really one time." I said, "Jonah, if he comes towards the basket, you don't wait for him to shoot. You try to steal it from him." And I was explaining that with like a chopping karate motion. And sure enough, like at least once the kid was running down and towards the hoop, and Jonah just went over and just like pretty much laid the kid out. He didn't knock him over, but he came down and like hit him pretty. I wasn't trying to hit him in the face. I mean, he was trying to steal the ball, but he fouled the kid hard. So I was like, thank God.
At least we got that one in.
My son's already a green belt here. I mean, if me and him have to go in the parking lot and just fucking take people to town, we will. No, I mean now I can sort of tell it humorously, but I was like, I guess I don't know, but basically there's going to be 6 or 8 games. I forget how many. The two same teams playing each other, and the games are not going to change much.
Yeah, you're just going to get owned.
Because I mean, does this? I mean, never mind me, and it does piss me off. Is this bad for the kids? I mean, you're not the person to ask, obviously, because you're not a father. But I'd be curious. I'm going to ask a couple fathers here. I mean, whatever, we'll persevere. But
I don't know, man. That would be
it's just
totally
bizarre.
frustrating.
Can you imagine? It just can't be like the fact that there was such a height discrepancy, like, is the giveaway. You know what I mean? Like, if it just so happened that like all the kids were the same size, but the 3 best skilled players, but literally like, with Jonah's like a tall kid, but it would be Jonah out there we've got 4 shrimps, and they've got 5 kids who are all as tall as Jonah, or almost as tall. Yeah,
just blatantly obvious.
So Steve, I mean, if you ever want to know why I just don't, believe in the human race here, this is. I can go back and all. I mentioned once how I wanted to talk about the books I'm reading, but I would eventually. I want to have my book podcast, maybe separately, but or the Oprah's book club, but Survival at Auschwitz by Primo Levi, who, anyways. I'm just going in another direction, though. He goes into the details of the Holocaust and stuff. And like when I looked at this guy's eyes when he was like explaining me how he was going to take it easy on me and put his defense back, just to show you how weird my mind works. Like it's like I actually get a shudder of evil, like a chill up my spine that I get from reading about gas chambers. Because this guy was a fucking oven stuffer. He would stuff people. He would stuff a person in an oven if he thought it would get his son fucking 6 more minutes of playing time and a fucking. I mean, I was just appalled by the whole thing.
He was like Bill Belichick with the Patriots when it's fucking 7-48 in the third quarter, and he's just still going.
Right.
Just
but these are professional
pounding it down their
athletes. They know what
throats.
they're up to. These should be kids having fun, and I don't. Like I said. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of a dick move. I'd like to think if I was in charge of picking teams, I would want to pick the teams so that it's competitive, so that you get something when you win. Like all right, we beat them. But if you show up with the, varsity fucking college football team against the pee-wee freshmen, you don't get anything out of winning that,
Right. Sense of fairness. I watched the Avengers Age of Ultron with my son, and I don't know if you seen that. You're probably not into that kind of shit.
No, I love the Avengers. I haven't seen that one though.
Oh, okay. But anyways, the very first scene is the Avengers are attacking this Hydra base, and they're basically just fighting soldiers, humans.
Okay.
And eventually, obviously, there's some supernatural forces appeal. But my son, I got to say, because I had the same sort of reaction. Like Thor, there's like 20 soldiers firing guns at Thor, and he just lands with his hammer and lightning, and like 20 of them die. And my son's like, the Avengers probably shouldn't be killing people, which is what they do. So I'd like to think if my son was running the league, even he would have enough sense to like, well, we can't beat him that bad.
Yeah.
It's just
What was it? 50-2?
I believe 50-2 was the final score. It's something like that. I mean, like this one kid probably had
After like 28, you're just not counting anymore, right? You're just like, well, let's just not get shut out. Let's get a basket.
Yeah. I mean, the one kid had like 30 points. Like I said, he was. You can just tell was out. He's just playing basketball every day for the last 3 years, kind of thing, pretty much. So he was. But anyways, it's just bizarre. Like I said, I would have been embarrassed if I picked the teams.
Yeah.
Where we've got all these little 6-year kids who probably just turned 6, so we're playing against kids who are about to turn 8, and these kids can't even get one freaking dribble without their I don't know, whatever. I guess I'm done with that, Steve. I'm sorry.
No.
I told my buddy, I said, will you be a character witness if I'm arrested at the Y next week? Because it could happen.
I just might fucking knock this guy out in the parking lot.
I don't mind losing 70-0, but if the guy comes over and gives me any coaching advice or anything, I mean, like even like, well, your kids really need to learn how to throw a bounce pass. I mean, like that is all it will take. He can fucking key my car or whatever, but like if he suggests somehow that it's just a strange twist of fate that my team seems to be so much better than yours.
Oh damn! Maybe you can approach him and ask him about like maybe we can even out the teams a little bit here.
For pride, I would never do that at this point. But all I know is my son's laying somebody out every week. It's about the only. Not I don't even care about scores anymore. But. I don't know. It's whatever. So it's just you and I today, Steve.
Yes, it's just you and I. I could say I really look forward to moving to our house. I'm going to have my own room. No more podcasting in the living room and pissing my wife off every time she's got to be quiet and can't flush the toilet or close the door. I'm going to have my own poker room. I'm going to paint it whatever aesthetic color just breeds calm, tranquility. I'm going to have a big sliding glass door looking out to the backyard, the grass, the orange tree. I'm going to have my own little man cave, that's going to be cool.
Wow.
I'm going to have a garage. I'm looking forward to that. This is gonna be cool. No more unplugging the refrigerator every time we gotta record a podcast.
Well, you might not want to go to Columbia, Steve. You might have this place you might start printing money there. The whole thing might. It sounds good.
I don't know. We'll see.
But anyways, yeah. If you want to, I don't know if we want to get into poker here. Once again, I got to throw my little carbon sob story here. Is that I had a check that had been waiting about 13 weeks for $2,500. I was probably only a couple weeks maybe from getting it, but they told me if I were to cancel it, they're doing Bitcoin now. I can get 5,000 out.
Oh.
So I set up a Bitcoin account, and I'm now on my third effort to get it in through there, because I won't even explain how the channel. But anyways, if you want to. For those who listen here, not just to hope that I go totally insane, which I seem to always be on the precipice of, this might be it. If I can't get any money off there, but anyways, I'm done with that.
What did the Bitcoin work or?
No, I'm waiting for it to work. I made five. It's we'll see. I can't say the first time. The company I was sending it to said we do not take from gambling people, so I tried another Bitcoin address. And Carbon Poker wrote me back, said this address is not valid. And I put in another, because you create a little wallet for yourself that has an identification number.
Yeah.
So now I put a new one in there, and there's really no reason it shouldn't. But I got on the 2+2 forum again, and some people seem to be having problems with it, and some people are. It's not like all of a sudden once a week now I can just. It's not like I'm going to get $40,000 off this place in the next 2 months, even if this works, but. I can use the money, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Another rough stretch here.
Yeah. So, I don't have much experience with Bitcoin. I bought one like a year ago. That was probably one of the worst investments I've ever made. I bought it for $450 $50 or something like that. I know it was less than 5 and it was more than 4, so it was in that ballpark. I think I haven't checked recently, but I think it's probably worth $250 now, something like that. So not my best investment, but
Steve,
I
if, that,
figure
if
I'm never going to
that's
sell the thing, and either it'll be worth 15 grand 5 years from now, or it'll be worth nothing. So we'll see.
if that's the worst investment you've made, that's
Well, probably no, definitely not the worst.
450 effing dollars. Put me into a cash game, Steve. If you want bad investments, a 5-10 cash game. You and poor Joe LaPinta sitting there just watching me make bad move after bad move.
How'd you end up doing after the whole session?
Well, remember we talked about the one hand where with Joe that I had the trip queens.
Oh yeah,
The guy had the full house, and I lost the $5,000 pot. So
yeah.
it was it was bad. It is kind of funny though. I mean, Joe's smart, man. I got to say, he's picking out all sorts of shit. It just shows you what a long way I'd have to go. Just like I said, just to be a winning player. Never mind a highly. But like I was breaking down all the hands that all the little things that Joe would do differently, and rather than breaking even over those 2 hours or losing 400, whatever it was,
Yeah.
I had myself winning 1,400.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if I don't obviously waste $600 with that King 10 bluff, that was an obvious one. If I don't, for some reason, 3-bet post flop the Ace King when I hit my hand and let the guy fire again, I probably get another $300 or $400 out of him. And I think Joe, and I'm ashamed I didn't even think of back raising with that Ace Queen hand when we talked about that one, where someone 3-bet and I got it on the button here where I got a back raised and there's a lot of money in that pot.
Yeah.
That was pop it to 600 and take 400 down or whatever. So, and just a couple of the leaky little C bets that I made, which were always going to get called and that kind of shit. And so it's kind of funny. But once I was done with it, I'm like, I wish I didn't bluff with King 10. But there's so many other. I mean, he liked a couple of the moves I made. I didn't look like totally stupid out there. I wasn't a total fish, but Anyways, I learned a lot.
Good.
I guess that's the. So, but I got back to my comfort zone here, a little live poker. I wasn't even going to play it. Actually, Lori Persinger, our former guest, she's like, I'm coming up your way for the 50K. What time are you going to be there? I'm like, oh, this was yesterday. And both days, you start with 18K in chips. And yesterday, I had it up to about 125K in chips.
Wow.
When the chip average was like 50K. And then I was gone 15 minutes later.
Holy shit. What happened?
And today quickly, and today I had it when it was like, I had to have been the chip leader. I don't know what the average was. Yeah, the average was probably about the same 40, 50, and I was up to about 210K.
Wow.
And it took a while to go. It was gone like an hour and a half later. But, so yeah, there's a couple of hands from there we can discuss, a couple of interesting spots.
Yeah.
We want to go right.
That's right. I had the same kind of session today online. It was, oh man, I was recording with Camtasia, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll throw these up on YouTube, and then it was just back-to-back hands like that, where it's like Ace King versus Ace Queen, flops a queen. Oh, great. Okay, well now I'm still above average. Same thing. All in aces versus queens, queens on the flop. Just brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting how to adjust your game to these lower buy-ins, maybe where there's like a lot of, like, to give you an example, just today there was a hand where I think the blinds were 500, 1,000, and somebody made it 3,000 under the gun, and then the small blind called, had for 3,000, and this is when I already had about 100,000. And I made it, I had queens in the big blind.
Okay, wait, recap here. So what are the blinds again?
The blinds are 500, 1,000.
500, 1,000, okay.
And I'll have to, I don't have to remember the numbers. This hand is just so weird. I mean, this was just, I'll just, 500, 1,000, and someone made it 3,000, the small blind call for 3, and I made it I made it pretty small. I made it just 10K.
You were in the big blind.
Yeah, I made it just 10K, which is probably too small, with pocket queens. And both of them call.
Okay, the middle position guy and the
yeah, and just bizarre. The guy who opened under the gun only had like 35K. So what is he calling with? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean he should be probably shoving or folding there in most spots.
Yeah.
And the small blind, I don't know, but he's got quite a bit. He's got 65K to start the hand, 65, 70K.
Okay.
I think he's got the second biggest stack at the table. Okay. I've got 100K, and like I said, he's got 70 big blinds to start the hand. So the flop comes queen 4-5.
Well, that's a pretty good flop for pocket queens.
And there's about 33, 34K in the pot. Oh, with antes, I guess just 31K. And the small blind open ships. There's 2 diamonds on the board.
Okay.
And I sigh, actually, because I'm assuming he's got the nut flush draw, and I call. Yeah. I call. And he has 3-6 off for the straight draw.
Oh, my God.
And he doesn't get there.
Oh, that's good.
So, but this is the kind of weird stuff that just would go on. So it's like, okay. I don't know, but or people no understanding of stack sizes and people who seem to be playing tight would just go. So I wanted to tell you about today's hand, just to talk about yesterday's hand, if that makes sense. To go back to yesterday is like how, quickly yesterday's hand here. Do I have the specific numbers written down? This was at 800, 1600 yesterday. And this is right around my peak. I think I had 125K. And someone under a lot of limping, of course. I was doing a lot of 3-bet isolating. I was winning a lot of pots without even having hands. It was beautiful. People were just calling 3-bets and calling raises and then just giving up on flops. And
I love that.
Today was the same thing. I mean, it was just like, the card, just give me one good hand an hour and I'll just, So yesterday, somebody limped. It was 800, 1600. They limped, and I had ace king of diamonds.
Okay.
Like UTG +3 or low jack or whatever it is.
Okay.
And I raised it to 4,800.
Okay.
And the button called.
Okay.
And everyone else folded, and the big blind, the original limper, called as well.
Okay.
So again, this is one of those hands that goes so quick, I don't even know if we need to do the math. But if you want to, 4,800 times 3, so there's 14,400. The small and the big blind, another 2,400, so 16 something, plus the antes. Whatever, there's 17 or 18K in the pot.
Okay.
The flop is the queen of diamonds, the 9 of diamonds, and the 8 of hearts. So I have flopped the nut flush draw with 2 overs.
Okay. Queen of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, 8 of hearts. You got the flush draw. Okay. Check 10s and nuts. Okay.
So the under the gun guy checks, and I'm certainly going to bet here, right?
Of course.
I bet 8,300.
8,300 into, so you bet like half pot.
Yeah, a little like 40% pot or something. And the guy who was on the button who had called immediately shoves 118K in the pot. And again, I'm the chip average is like 60K, and I'm the chip leader at this table.
Okay.
And the under the gun guy folds. So I've got it, and I got him covered by a little bit. So I got 8K in there. I don't know. I have to call like 110K to win a pot of whatever it is, 130K.
Man.
Or a little more than that. I don't know. 7.
Wow. So you have over 100 big blinds here.
To start the hand, no. I have 125K would be. Help me do the math here, Steve.
If the blinds are 1,600, you got over 100.
No, you.
Oh wait, no, I'm off. Yeah,
it's about 80 bigs.
Yeah, 80 bigs.
So, yeah, basically, I mean, I'm trying to range this guy. They're very, you can't even talk to yourself. Like, I wasn't even asking him questions. I'm like, you couldn't possibly do that with a set.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you would never do that with one pair either. You know what I mean? It's like, does he have a straight? Like, I kind of thought he had, but I had to catch. Like, if he had, he could have had like Queen Jack.
Yeah.
But he's still, I still got to catch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the question here is an ace or a king an out? Is really what it boils down to. Because if you're only going for diamonds, then you're kind of screwed.
First of all, is it even a mathematical decision here? If he shows you Queen Jack and they're both good, I mean, technically, you got 15 outs. I guess you got to call, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it mathematically says you have to call. But if people are just shoving it in there crazy, and if it's just feast or famine for these people,
Yeah.
if you can 3-bet them and just take steel pots, yeah, basically I didn't know what to do. I took forever, and I say, I just don't want to gamble here, and I flipped over the ace king face up, and the guy showed me ace queen.
Oh, okay.
So my king was good. I mean, we can run the numbers. I had 12 outs. If it was queen of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, 8 of hearts, I'm definitely calling because I got the gutter ball, and I think the chances of him having a straight are much less.
Yeah.
He could have 10 jack here, but he's not going to have 9 jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a weird spot. I mean,
that is a weird spot.
I don't even, like I said, what is this guy? I'm like, no, you can't have a set or a straight. But he could have had a set and just see he just saw. He probably would have played a set the same way. God, I don't want his draw to get in there.
Yeah.
So I folded. I thought it was, it was just, yeah.
I think I would have made the same fold. I mean, as big a hand as that is.
I still have, if I fold whatever it is, 65, 70 bigs, I'd have to look at the numbers there. So it just seemed like too much. And the other thing I was thinking, a lot of these tournaments, these small buy-ins, I guess I don't do a lot of them. It's like the difference between, I think I talked with Mark about how my ROI is better in $200 tournaments than it is in $11 tournaments.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking time with decisions and trying to just make the optimal decision. So I was actually telling myself, especially when I go to the chips, I'm like, let's just treat this like it's the goddamn main event.
Yeah.
There's a massive overlay for this thing, or pretty good overlay. I think I didn't see the final numbers. My guess is there's probably a $90,000. There's probably $18K first prize for this thing.
Wow.
They got over 400 entrants.
Okay.
In a $200 tournament, so they got over $80K, that's money I could use.
Yeah.
Plus, there's going to be so many weak players who just don't understand, especially when it's going to be a fast-moving tournament. It's going to take a lot of luck. But basically, I don't know. If I was playing the 10K main event, unless it was just a lunatic who was doing that every goddamn time, if it was a nit like this situation, I mean, I'm not putting up my if I have a stack that's double the average or more.
Yeah.
I'm not putting the whole damn thing in with a draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't hate this decision, but of course, like 3 hands later, I got aces against the guy. Not to even this is not a bad beat story. Maybe I'm supposed to fold. 2 red aces. I raise from the cutoff, and this guy calls from. Of course, I've already given it away. This is my bust out hand, but this guy, the guy who took the last pot, calls from the small blind, and the big blind folds. And the flop is a king 6-5, and the 6 of 5 are of diamonds.
King 6-5, 6-5 diamonds. Okay.
And I bet, and he calls. At this, I had a little over 100K to start the hand, and he had whatever 130, 140K. I can't remember. So the turn is like the 7 of diamonds. So there's now that was like the 2 of diamonds or something like that. So there's now so there wasn't a straight out there, I don't think. But so now it's 10 high flop, 3 diamonds, and now I bet pretty big. I bet like 60-70% of pot. It was probably like
Wait, was it King 5 6 7 or was it 10 5 6 7?
10. Yeah, 10
Okay,
was the
10.
high. 10 was the high card on the board,
Okay.
and so I can't remember the bet sizing, but I made it like probably 12K or something like that. I think it was probably like I raised to 4, C bet for 5, and then probably again like half pot or 11 or 12, and he pops it to 35K. Now there's
Okay.
3. I got the over pair, obviously the aces, plus there's 3 diamonds on the board, so I have a draw to the nuts.
Well,
And
you've got two. Oh, you have two red aces. Okay.
I got
All
2
right.
red aces, so I have the draw to the nuts plus the ace. But what is he raising with that's worse?
Yeah, that's a good point.
What's the worst hand he has there? 2 pair.
Two pair.
Afterwards, I justified it by saying, well, I thought he maybe could have the 10 of diamonds, the king of diamonds with a 10. Like that's about the only hand he could have that
Yeah.
I'm ahead of.
Yeah.
Where he has top pair and he's got his big diamond. But basically, this was, I mean, if I'm playing well, I fold there.
Yeah.
Or I call, and I only call with a diamond on the river.
Yeah.
Which just feels fucking dirty as hell to call off probably close to half my stack and then fold to the river shove when I'd be getting 3-1 on my money.
Yeah, but
Whatever
when
it
he
is.
raises there, I mean, like you said, that he's not doing that. I mean, minimum he has two pair.
Like I said, I don't know, unless he's not slow playing queens or kings. I tried to justify that these guys love any Broadway kind of combinations, so he has. Yeah, I mean that's it. He has the king of diamonds with something else. Yeah, basically I'm behind, and if I was playing my best, I fold there. To fold the nut flush draw and then the aces with the nut flush draw and back like within one orbit just seems like absurd. So I shoved, and he had the king 10 of diamonds.
Oh.
So I was drawing to 7 outs, and I did not hit any one of my 7 outs. So he had the flush, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that was just hideous. And so today was kind of similar. I got it up over 200K. Like I said, after the one guy just fucking went bonkers with 3-6. And I don't know if you want to talk about just to give the narrative. I shoved my jack high flush, and the other guy had the king high flush draw. So I lost about 55K that way. And then this next hand came up, which I thought is the one hand I wrote down in some detail here. I don't know if you want to do it.
Yeah.
So I was trying to steal I was opening 50% of pots at least.
Okay.
My VPIP was and it's funny how one of those things like these the guys were getting angry. I was being so aggressive.
Yeah, I know.
Like a spite. Like they were calling me light, and then this one guy was real ticked because I hit a set of 3s, and he had called like king 4 and hit top pair, and I got big value from him earlier, and he was so. Anyways, there was just a spite factor going on where people were just getting angry that I was getting all the chips, but I kept opening pots. So I decide at 800, 1600, I open the from the hijack. I open Jack Deuce off.
Okay.
Jack of spades, deuce of clubs.
Okay.
And it's 800, 600. And for some reason, the antes are only 100 still, I believe, which is kind of strange how this most casinos would be 200 at this point.
It'd be 200, yeah.
I make it 4,100, which was my standard raise size.
Okay.
Like I said, a little bigger here, so people are so kind of face up post flop. Might as well get some more chips in there. And the guy to my direct left, he calls.
In the cutoff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the flop, I'm sorry, believe the big blind also calls.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, the small blind. So now there's 12,300 plus 800, 14,100 in the pot.
Okay.
Maybe something like that. So, oh, by the way, the villain in this hand, the main villain, the guy to my left, started the hand with like 43K, and this was right after I had lost the big pot flush over flush draw. So I was back down to like 140K or 145K or something. So the flop, anyways, is 5-4-5.
Rainbow, club, spades?
Five. There's two clubs.
Okay.
So
Big blind checks?
big blind checks. And I decide I'm just going to bet small here, and for whatever reason, I don't think my bet size was consistent here, but I have written down that I bet 5,200.
Okay, I was thinking 55, 52. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Bet small. Just try to see if you can.
Just see if you can take.
And
it down.
basically, these guys are. It doesn't matter the bet size. They're not going to be like, oh, he bet small, I'm going to raise. They're only going to, in my mind, proceed with it with a hand of some sort.
Yeah.
So the cutoff calls.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was the hijack. He was the cutoff. So he calls, and the big blind folds. So 10,400 plus. What do we got? Like 24K in there now?
You got like 24.5.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. Go to turn.
And first of all, what did we put him on? He has.
Okay, so he just calls you right now. What was he like before he?
He was he had people were getting knocked out left and right, and he hadn't been there very long. This might have been only his second orbit around, and this might have only been like the second hand he played. So probably had like 15 hands on him, and this is with a VPIP of under 15% or something. And I think he maybe stole the blinds once or something. But
so tight.
Tight and like a tight amateur who wants to preserve his chips, I guess, would be my overall. So I don't know. Is there enough? I mean, if you have pocket eights and you're him, doesn't he shove it in there? I mean, are you leaning towards a draw? I would think. Does he fold a big ace here if he he has no pair? Again, I don't have any answers here, but
okay. So from his perspective, you say you've been raising like 50% of hands, right?
Yeah, quite active. In late
quite
position,
active, yeah. So from his perspective,
late position, it was like 90%, kind of thing. But
yeah, so you're yeah. I mean, if you're doing Jack 2 off, I mean, you're just running over this table.
But
right?
pre-flop, he's got some sort of playable hand. He's not calling with Queen 4 just to like put a move post flop or anything.
No.
Like
he's
like
calling with like Queen Jack plus, right? Jack 10 suited, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, he might have smaller suited connectors, pairs. He might call with any ace. But basically, when he calls, I'm thinking draw, because I think if he's got an overpair,
I'm thinking there too. I'm thinking if he's got like sixes plus, he's probably just stuffing it. Because as active as you've been, you're going to see bet here every time. Because you were the pre-flop aggressor. I'm thinking, any overpair, sixes plus, he's probably just stuffing it. Unless he's got something like maybe kings, queens, or aces, that at that point he kind of wants to reel you in. But to me, this seems like, some kind of draw, like maybe 6-7.
Right.
Maybe two clubs with like the ace, jack of clubs, something like that. Like, because if he only starts the hand with 43K, he's putting in a pretty significant part of his stack right now. He's already got 43K, 4,100, 5,200. I mean, he's got, almost 25% of his stack in right now.
Well, the optimal play would have been certainly any overpair. Me and you would probably be shoving there, sure, with someone who's opening at least 75% of cutoffs, probably.
Yeah.
You and I would shove any pair, as would any competent player, and we'd probably shove the big draws too, wouldn't we?
I would shove the club draw, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of money in the pot.
Yeah.
At this point, you're increasing your stack by 50% if you could take it down now.
Yeah.
And if you for some reason have sevens through tens or whatever it is. But again, like I said, these amateurs, it's even more interesting playing against these guys at a certain level. Kind of break down their mind because you're playing with competent players. You all know what everyone's thinking to some level.
Yeah.
But here where I didn't have too much information on the guy. But anyways, I immediately was kind of leaning towards a draw. But it wouldn't surprise me if this guy has like pocket eights or nines and just isn't doing what we consider probably the best play, which is just shove it in there and take it down or try to take it down. So I can't take some of the hands out of the range because just because he flats there. So I'm a little bit confused over what he has. But basically, I'm kind of in give up mode.
Okay.
Is my thing, or very dependent on what the turn's going to be here. If it's a small card, I'm probably done with it. But I figured any paint on the turn could be good for me.
Yeah.
So he calls, and we now have, 24K in their pot or something like that.
24.5 is what I got.
Okay. And the turn is the ace of clubs. So now, for whatever it's worth, I have a flush draw. I have the two of clubs, right? And I got a straight draw. Let's talk about how this improved my hand.
Okay. I was going to say, well, we know the three of clubs isn't out, right?
How do we know the three of clubs isn't? I thought I had jack two this hand. Did I say jack three?
Well, you have, at least what I got, you got jack of spades, two of clubs, and the board is five of clubs, four of clubs, 5x, ace of clubs. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah, I could get the straight flush, sure.
You could get the straight flush.
Okay,
so.
no. So, I mean, would you take a shot with this card? Is this now a good card? Because you think he's going to give up with aces, so he probably doesn't have an ace. Yes, he could have a club draw. But if we think the most likely hands he has are middle pairs of some sort because he's just as unwilling to shove him in, what are you thinking about this card in terms of as a good bluffing card?
I'm thinking right now, okay, he's got probably 30K behind. Let's see, 41, 52, 93. Okay, so he's got like a little over 30K behind. The pot is 24. I'm going to bet 10K right here. Maybe, actually, in-game, okay, if I'm at a casino with chips, I'm going to bet 10,775. If you have 25 chips. You probably don't because you got 100 anties. Okay, so I'm going to bet 10,700. I don't know why. I just like putting those extra little chips up there. I'm going to bet 10,700. And if I get anything like a call and it's not the three of clubs on the river, I'm done. But yeah, I'm going to take a shot at that, especially with the ace of clubs there.
Okay, so I bet 9,700.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I was thinking the same thing as you. I was pulling it out, and I was ready to make it like 10,600 or something. But I'm like, well, this is A, saves chips, and maybe B, maybe it looks like I'm trying to reel him in a little bit. If I throw, so I mean, I don't know if the bet's sizing, but I make it 9,700, and he calls.
Yeah. Yeah.
He took some time. I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was. Well, not a lot of time. I'm trying to think if in game I got. He was pretty stoic, I guess I should say. I didn't get any strong reads for him if he was happy or. But again, I mean, just talking about his range here with him calling. Any hand that it makes sense here, why wouldn't he just, if he's got the flush, just shove it in? If he's got any sort of, if somehow he had an ace, wouldn't he shove it in here too?
I don't know, with the three clubs out there. I mean, if he's an amateur, let me think. What the hell is he calling there with? Maybe he's got the flush. Or if he had something like, I mean, is he calling the flop with ace king? As active as you've been, maybe he is.
I would think you'd re-raise pre-flop with ace king, but again, like I said, it's just there's so many weird hands where people were just showing up with hands you just couldn't imagine them having.
Yeah.
whether it be calling or shoving. Another guy, I mean, this is the table. There's one guy who had all these sorts of chips. He was chip drunk to the point of he was blind raised under the gun before he got his cards. This is when he was the chip leader. And then at one point, someone had limped under the gun, and he had min raised, and the guy under the gun immediately shoved like 60 big blinds. It was like similar, like a massive overshove. Wow. And this guy the guy who was chip drunk snap called with him with king queen off. And the other guy had kings.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is just the shit you're seeing. The funny thing is you also see some top pros there too, like some of the better guys from the casino. I saw the guy who came 18th in the main event this year was there. You know what I mean? There's just not a lot of good poker tournaments around.
Okay.
You got to take advantage of them. 50K guarantee if you live within 20 minutes of San Diego.
You can go into it.
There's not many of that high of that value over here. So, but overall, obviously the play, as I describe, it's pretty terrible. So when this guy calls, my first thought is he has quad fives.
Okay.
Like I just don't know.
I hadn't thought of that.
I'm still no. I think it's
pocket fours, pocket fives makes sense.
I'm still sticking to my read that somehow he has an overpair. That maybe he didn't love the ace. Didn't take that long to call, but it wasn't. But I still understand. So that would be the hands that would make sense that he would not shove in there, like pocket tens. Like maybe he's going to call a river shove. Okay, if he's but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to shove it in there with the worst hand. He's going to call it if I'm bluffing. Okay, so be it. He's going to call with the second pair. Again, like nines, tens, jacks, even. Maybe he's just playing in a goofy ass way here.
Okay.
Maybe he's got the two jacks with the jack of clubs. I don't know. I mean, do you? You're welcome to take a stab at what he could just be calling here with.
Man, I'm kind of confused.
He could have.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's like pocket eights with the eight of clubs. If he took a little while to call on the turn when the ace came out, did he look troubled or like what did he look like when you bet?
I was studying him real hard, and his pulse wasn't going, and yeah, I just didn't know. He wasn't giving anything away in that respect. I don't think. I got to say he seemed pretty calm. So 97 and he called. How much we got in the pot now? And I basically, I'm telling you, quite frankly, I just got no fucking clue what this guy has.
Okay, yeah, I got 43.9, basically 44K in the pot.
He could, like you said, he could have an ace that he somehow kind of floated with. And but maybe he's got no club in his hand, so he's thinking I'll call but fold if the river's a club. Does that make sense? Possible.
Yeah.
Too ace 10 with no club.
Yeah.
Or even ace 10 with a club. He's just. I mean, this is the kind of guy who just wants to have something really nutty maybe before he puts his chips in. Where you have guys to the other extreme. I mean, he could have trip fives, but be worried about the club. No, I mean, I assume trip fives he shoves in pre, but I mean, on the flop. So another 19-4 went in at that. So what we got, about 44K in the pot?
I got 43.9.
Okay.
So yeah, 44K.
The river is the two of hearts. And I have written down, yeah, he had 23,600 more. In the stack. So your options are obviously to check, give up,
or shove it
in. It's either shove or what are your options here? I don't know. Are you?
Yeah, shove or check, give up. You're not betting like 10K here. That's just. Okay, so if we shove, how much did he have left? You say
23,600.
So he's got half a pot bet. So do we think that by betting and putting him all in that he'll fold 25% of the time? 28% of the time? Something like that? Man, I'm just giving up. I don't like it. He's committed so much of his stack. He's committed almost half his stack here.
Um,
I mean, maybe he. I don't like it. I don't like it. I just check give up. We got a healthy stack right now. We still have 120K, something like that. 125K.
what does this effing clown have at this point? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we were to shove and if he were to fold pocket nines here or something, that would be just a hideous shove, a hideous fold on his part.
Yeah.
Because with my stack, I've got so many bluffs in my range. He really should almost be calling with any pair. Like I said, there's no way he has just a 4 at this point.
No.
There's nothing. I mean, he could have 2 4s.
I'm thinking he's got something like 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s ish. Because I think he's raising with. He's re-raising probably. Maybe he's re-raising with 10s. He's probably re-raising with jacks, but you have a blocker to that. Queens, kings, and aces. I think he's re-raising. Maybe aces. He's just calling.
Well,
but yeah,
I was check giving up, but I was checking expecting him to check everything behind.
Mm-hmm.
But I check and he insta shoves.
Okay.
So I have to call, and like I said, I have to call 23,600 to win a pot of what, almost 70K. I'm not sure. No,
67 ish, 67.5, something like that.
Right. So, I only got to be right 1 out of 4 times to make it break even, right? I mean, am I ever good here?
He insta shoves?
Yeah, 2 seconds maybe.
Okay. Let me run through this again from his perspective. Okay, so we got we raise, he calls, the button call, or the big blind calls. Flop, button checks, you bet, he calls. You bet, he takes a second, then he calls. Then the river, you check, and he shoves. No, I'm folding. Maybe he made some hero call with king queen and the king of clubs or something, but no, I'm done.
What's he shoving though? What's he shoving on the river that he wouldn't be shoving on the turn? I mean, this
flush.
is. I took some time with this, and I just.
Flush,
the funny thing is, I started verbalizing it, and they told me to stop. They're one of these places where you can't even like speak to yourself, even though I wasn't really asking him.
Yeah.
I was just allowed, but I was saying exactly what I'm going to be saying now. I'm like, there's no way you have an ace because you would have shoved the turn. And there's no way you have any other pair because you'd be checking it behind here and trying to preserve the rest of your chips. I said you either have an absolutely nutty hand, you either have like a full house, or you have absolutely nothing. But the problem is, if you want to put him on a draw, only the straight draw missed, the club draw got there. I have to put him exactly on 6-7 almost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, we don't have enough information on this guy.
Could he ever have a 3 there? Would he ever have pocket 3s?
I don't know.
I mean, pocket 3s got there.
I mean, like a pro here might shove pocket 10s and hope to get looked up by pocket 8s.
Okay, so the final board, just to recap here, if you're driving in your car, is 5 of clubs, 4 of clubs, 5x, ace of clubs, 2 of hearts. So any 3 got there.
And I have jack deuce.
And you got jack deuce, yes. You rivered a pair of deuces. You're only bluff catching here, and I don't know, even a 4 I think is a bluff here with what he did, and you can't even beat that. I'd be folding, man.
What would you do with pocket? Let's say you had pocket 7s here. What would you do? I mean, how big a hand does he have here? I just broke it down and I said, it's an absolute monster. It's just nothing. Because if he's not shoving his ace on the turn, he's worried about the flush somehow.
Well,
Uh,
why would he shove an ace on the turn?
because there's three clubs out there, and he does not have the ace of clubs, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, as active as you are, well, maybe I'm putting myself in his
Yeah, no,
shoes. I mean,
it's the
he's
anyway.
probably a little bit more simple than
I'm
that.
telling what this is what I was like started verbalizing. I said, well, you never have an ace. I said you check behind every other one pair hand. I said you've either got a full house, a flush, or nothing. And there's probably more full houses and flushes in his range than there is nothing. But there's a lot of chips in the pot on the turn there.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, like I say, he's getting more than a double up if he gets me to fold at that point, practically, right?
Yeah.
So I called, and he quickly mucks.
Really?
And I flipped over the cards, and the table went bananas. You know what I mean?
Huh.
I didn't. They just like, oh my god, that's the greatest call ever. Blah blah. You know, it's pretty funny, but
So he never showed.
I don't know what he had. I guess the 6-7. Somehow the king of clubs with the 10 of hearts or something. Then he picked up. He was going to hope I didn't bet on the. I mean, like he might be a competent amateur who knew I'd barrel again and then was going to steal it on the turn, but then he picked up some equity. I got no clue. But like I said, I really this is one of my favorite hands I played, not just because I don't know if it was any really high level wizardry, but I thought my read was good though. But it's just such a he could be turning pocket sixes into a bluff there. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need, like this guy might have 10. I mean, so it's obviously a horrible bluff catcher, and you almost have to put him on like 6-7 and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 6-7, a 6-7 suited. So I don't know what exactly he missed, but he just said, he's like, I missed and quickly folded. He's not nice call. And I flipped over my jack deuce and the table went bananas. So it was great.
That's awesome.
And it's funny. Everyone was nuts, and like the dealer was like, shook his head. He's like, no, he never has it there. Like the dealer made it look like I made an easy call. I don't think it was an easy call by any means, but, and then things went from shit to there though. But so I got it even after giving a bunch away with a kind of a crummy flush draw. Then I had just like this ridiculous stretch where I lost like a flip sevens to ace king. Then I lost ace queen to jacks. Then I lost again with ace king to tens. And I just went from all the chips in the room to boom, 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 and then out of there. And then I stuffed my last 9 big blinds in there, thinking I'm golden with ace queen suited, and the guy wakes up with ace king, and I was gone. So it was just, I'd have to think about the end. I think I was playing okay. I mean, it was all pretty standard. You know, I was gambling at that point, but I guess when you're flipping, but you're supposed to win a couple of those. So, anyways,
yeah.
You got any? Did you tag any hands from today, Steve, or you got anything interesting?
You know what? I do, but let's wrap this one up, and then and let's do another one just in case I can't get 2 episodes out of the last Joe LaPinta one.
Okay, how long have we been going for? That's fine.
An hour and 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
You want to mention Elliot?
Yes. Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up. If you guys want to get your free MP3 for your hypnosis download tape, go to HeadsUpPoker.Poker, click on the link on the homepage, and it'll take you directly to a free MP3. And we appreciate your reviews that you've been giving on iTunes. That's been awesome. We read them all. And if you've decided to get your MP3s from Elliot Rowe, use your code HUPOKER, Hotel Uniform Poker, and you'll get 10% off. Thank you for tuning in, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
Spend each day trying to be a little wiser than you were when you woke up. Discharge your duties faithfully and well. Step by step you get ahead, but not necessarily in fast spurts. But you build discipline by preparing for fast spurts. Slug it out 1 inch at a time, day by day. And at the end of the day, if you live long enough, most people get what they deserve. Through every generation of the human race, there has been a constant war, a war with fear. Those who have the courage to conquer it are made free, and those who are conquered by it are made to suffer until they have the courage to defeat it, or death takes them.
The reason why most people stop at the first hurdle is because they have something to prove. That is why. You want to show the world you are this person, which is a persona, which is a mask.
If you don't know exactly what you want, or you let yourself get beyond that to something general, you're not going to achieve it. Clarity is power. You got to know the specific result you're after. What do you want? You can't answer that question right now in your personal life, in your body, in your relationships, in your finances, in your spirituality, and you're not going to be as fulfilled as you want to be.
The time that you make a decision can depend the outcome of your destiny. Your dreams, your goals, the decisions you make today will determine your tomorrow.
When things don't work out for you, when things happen that you could not anticipate, what are the reasons that you can think of that can keep you strong, that can keep you in the game, that will be your rod and staff to comfort you, that can be your bridge over troubled waters? Those reasons are very important. Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow.